They were born into the two most powerful musical dynasties in history, and that single fact determined everything that would happen between them. Michael didn't choose to become an icon at age 6. He was forced to carry his family's ambitions on small shoulders. Lisa Marie watched her father, Elvis, die when she was 9, learning that even gods can fall. Both grew up in worlds where real reality was optional, damaged in identical but opposite ways, and in 1974, at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas, they saw each other for the first time. 18 years later, they would collide in a love story so tragic it would end with one of them dead and the other spending her life trying to understand why love couldn't save him. In 1974, Michael Jackson was 17 when Elvis introduced them backstage. Lisa Marie was 7 and didn't know who Michael was yet. She just saw a boy who could move impossibly. But years later, when Michael was older, he asked his lawyer, John Branca, about her repeatedly. When he found out she had married Danny Keough in 1988, something broke inside him. He had been waiting, and she had moved on. Michael told Branca to find out everything about her. He called obsessively, asking if they could reconnect. Meanwhile, Lisa Marie was living her own life, unaware that she was being watched, remembered, and deeply wanted by someone she had almost forgotten. For 18 years, Michael Jackson carried the image of Lisa Marie Presley like a ghost. He became the biggest pop star in the world, created Thriller, performed in stadiums where screaming was deafening. Yet in quiet moments, in hotel rooms, in Neverland, in spaces between performances, his mind returned to that 7-year-old girl with Elvis jeans, the one person who represented something he could never have, genuine ordinariness mixed with genuine understanding. In November 1992, at a private dinner, they saw each other again. 18 years had passed. Michael was 34, at the absolute peak of his power. Lisa Marie was 24, skeptical of the man she had heard about in tabloids. She didn't want to be there, but Michael disarmed her completely. He told her he knew exactly what she thought of him, and he would prove her wrong. He spoke without persona, without performance. For the first time, Lisa Marie saw a real person, not the king of pop, but just Michael. 20 minutes later, her entire assessment changed. This wasn't the weird freak from tabloids. This was someone who understood her isolation, who got the specific weight of growing up in golden cages. They exchanged phone numbers. After that night, they started calling constantly. Michael would call from tour from the other side of the world, and they would talk for hours about things they had never told anyone. Michael told her things he'd never confessed, his fears, insecurities, his deep need to be loved by someone who could see him as a person, not a product. He made her feel like she was the only person who could understand him, the only person who could save him. But something was shifting in the world outside their phone calls. In 1993, the allegations against Michael became public. A 13-year-old boy claimed inappropriate behavior. Suddenly, Michael went from king of pop to being accused of something so terrible that even devoted fans couldn't defend him unconditionally. His record sales plummeted, sponsors abandoned him, and at that exact moment, he intensified his connection with Lisa Marie. He called her more, he opened up more, he became more vulnerable. In those conversations, he confessed he was hooked on painkillers. He couldn't sleep without them. He needed help. Lisa Marie, who had her own history with addiction, recognized the signs, and she made the most dangerous decision of her life. She decided she could save him. In one of their phone calls, Michael asked, "If I proposed to you, would you say yes?" Lisa Marie was still married to Danny Keough with 2 children, but she didn't hesitate. She said yes. 4 days before marrying Michael, she filed for divorce. The speed was shocking. But for Lisa Marie, there was clarity. She was choosing Michael. She was choosing to believe they could save each other. The wedding took place on May 26, 1994, in the Dominican Republic. No family, no press, just a judge and translators. But the judge would later describe what he actually saw, revealing everything. Michael looked at the floor the entire time. He seemed lost, sad. When asked if he was okay, if he wanted to continue, he didn't respond. When it came time for the kiss, Michael didn't move. He stood there looking at the ground, unable or unwilling to complete the gesture. Lisa Marie had to grab his face and kiss him. That's the image that tells you everything. Her holding his face and him looking at the ground. Michael didn't want to be married, but he was doing it anyway. 2 months later, Lisa Marie released an official statement. "My married name is Mrs. Lisa Marie Presley Jackson. My marriage to Michael Jackson took place in a private ceremony outside the United States 11 weeks ago." The world didn't believe her, but she wasn't lying. In that moment, she did love him. She did want to raise a family with him. But the world's disbelief was a sign that something was wrong. The first public appearance was at the 1994 MTV Video Music Awards. 250 million people watched. Michael took her hand, looked at the camera, said, "Just think, nobody thought this would last," and kissed her live on television. It was designed to silence every doubter, prove the marriage was real. Lisa Marie left that stage furious. She felt he had used her as a prop, sent a message to the world without asking her, without treating her like a partner. She told him not to come near her for days. That pattern, Michael using whatever he had at his disposal to maintain his public image without consulting anyone, was going to repeat itself over and over. What Lisa Marie was discovering about Michael in the intimacy of marriage was a man who had never learned to be an adult. Peter Pan not out of poetry, but out of necessity. Growing up was impossible. When Michael was well, when he was connected, he was intoxicating. But when he felt threatened, he shut everything down. He would disappear for 3 or 4 days without telling her where he was going. One night in Hawaii, Lisa Marie told Michael how scared she was by his disappearances. She said she needed communication, acknowledgement that she mattered. Michael's response was to disappear again. He didn't address her concerns, he didn't reassure her. He just demonstrated that her needs didn't matter. That's when Lisa Marie understood. She had married someone incapable of genuine intimacy. Lisa Marie came to a clear conclusion. I didn't just marry Michael, I married a corporation. Around him was machinery, managers, advisors, doctors, assistants, enablers whose job was to say yes to everything. When she tried having real conversations about the people surrounding him, about decisions he was making, Michael backed away. Or worse, he made it clear what her role was: support. Not question, not challenge, support. He made it very clear to me, what I do is none of your business. You have to support me if you love me. Michael wanted children immediately. Lisa Marie didn't. She had 2 children. She didn't feel safe, stable, or secure in the relationship. She told him no. Michael's response revealed who he actually was. He used Debbie Rowe, his dermatologist's nurse, as leverage. He told Lisa Marie, "My friend Debbie said she's going to have my children. If you don't want to do it, she will." It was a threat disguised as information. 4 days after the divorce was finalized, Debbie Rowe became pregnant. There is a moment when marriages truly break. For Michael and Lisa Marie, it came when Michael collapsed during rehearsals in New York. He was hospitalized. Reports changed daily: dehydration, exhaustion, a virus. But Lisa Marie knew. The painkillers, the same ones he'd confessed to in 1993, the same cycle destroying him. There were moments when he wasn't coherent, was slurring his words, was someone else. When she went to see him at the hospital to try having a real conversation, the visit ended in a fight. Michael told her she was raising his heart rate. He asked her to leave. And then something happened that revealed everything. Michael left the hospital without recovering. He didn't go home. He went to Disneyland Paris. That decision to go to Disneyland instead of recovering at home with his wife told Lisa Marie everything. On the flight home alone, something settled inside her that never moved again. She described it like this: there was a very profound point in the marriage where he had to make a choice. Was it the drugs and the vampires or me? And he pushed me out. Vampires was her word for his entourage, people who drained his energy, his resources, his willpower, people invested in keeping him dependent, broken, controllable. Lisa Marie knew she couldn't win against that. On one side was her, on the other side was an entire industry. Michael didn't want to be saved. He wanted to stay in his bubble, even if that bubble was killing him. Lisa Marie filed for divorce in January 1996. The divorce was finalized in August 1996. As part of the settlement, she received 10% royalties from Michael's historical albums, money that would haunt her for the rest of her life. 4 months after she filed, Michael married Debbie Rowe. The night before his wedding to Debbie, Michael called Lisa Marie to tell her. She congratulated him. Even after everything, she still had the grace to congratulate him. But inside, something was shattering. What came next was total physical collapse, chronic panic attacks, mononucleosis, Epstein-Barr, fevers that wouldn't break for weeks, gallbladder surgery, 2 years to recover. Her body processed trauma, her mind was still trying to understand. She had given everything to someone who couldn't receive it. She had loved someone who couldn't love her back in the way she needed. For 4 years after the divorce, Michael and Lisa Marie maintained contact. They called each other, they talked about getting back together, they broke up again. Michael would call telling her he loved her, asking if she still loved him. Neverland staff noticed Michael had no photos of Debbie Rowe in his room. On his nightstand was a photo of Lisa Marie from when she was young, approximately the age when they first met in 1974. A close friend shared that Michael later confided that Lisa Marie had been his only real chance, and he was never going to have that again. In 2005, Michael Jackson was on trial. In the middle of it all, he called Lisa Marie. She asked him to keep his head up. She asked if he understood what she meant, and Michael answered, "Do you mean the drugs?" She said yes. And then he asked, "Do you still love me?" Lisa Marie told him she was indifferent. Not that she hated him, not that she was angry. Indifferent. The most devastating answer. He had become irrelevant. Michael began crying uncontrollably. At the end of that call, Michael told her something she didn't reveal publicly until years later. He felt someone was going to kill him to keep his music catalog and his estate. He gave names. 4 years later, Michael Jackson died of a propofol overdose administered by his personal physician, Conrad Murray. The Sony ATV catalog, including Beatles songs, was sold by Jackson's estate to Sony for $750 million. Lisa Marie knew it was coming. Michael had told her. She had to watch it unfold exactly as he predicted. When Michael died on June 25, 2009, Lisa Marie posted on MySpace, not a formal statement, but a raw personal note saying she was crushed by sadness and confusion. She wrote that she was watching the exact same scenario unfold that she had seen on August 16, 1977, when Elvis died. Same dynamics, same factors, same chain of events. How did she know? Because Michael had told her years before, "I feel like I'm going to end up just like your father." She had grown up watching a golden tomb being built, Elvis's. Now she had watched another one being built. But this time, she had been inside it. She had tried to stop it, and she had failed. It took Lisa Marie 2 years to recover from Michael's death. She gradually built understanding in interviews, in songs, and finally in a memoir she recorded before dying. She died January 12, 2023, at age 54. Her daughter, Riley Q, finished the book by listening to her mother's recordings. In From Here to the Great Unknown, Lisa Marie said things she had never said publicly. She said Michael was a virgin when they started dating. She said it was a real marriage in every sense. And she said, "I was really, really happy. I was never that happy again." But she also revealed the deepest truth. She was probably in love with an idea, the illusion that together they could save each other, the belief that 2 broken people could fix each other if they loved enough. It was beautiful. It was also a lie. Michael Jackson didn't want to be fixed. He wanted to be left alone in his bubble, surrounded by people saying yes to everything. Michael grew up in a bubble where reality was whatever he said it was. Lisa Marie walked into that bubble thinking she was different, and for a time, she was. She was the only person who questioned him, who didn't say yes to everything, who saw him for who he was and stayed. But Michael chose the bubble. He always chose the bubble. Sometimes people don't want to be saved. Sometimes they want to be left alone with their ghosts. Understanding that, really understanding it, not as excuses but as fact, is probably the most devastating realization a person can have. Lisa Marie Presley understood that, and she spent the rest of her life carrying that understanding like a weight she could never put down. But she also said something that redeemed the whole story. I was really, really happy. I was never that happy again. Those moments existed. That love existed. It wasn't all a lie. It was just that it couldn't save him. And sometimes, that's all there is. This is the saddest love story in music history, not just because it's tragic, it is, but because it reveals something fundamental about love itself, that love is not always enough, that two people who understand each other perfectly can still fail if one of them refuses to be saved, that the most powerful force in the universe can be rendered powerless when it meets someone who has chosen darkness over light. Michael Jackson and Lisa Marie Presley had something real, but reality couldn't compete with the machinery, the drugs, the isolation, the endless enablers. Love couldn't save him because he didn't want to be saved. What part of Michael and Lisa Marie's story moved you most? The moment they recognized each other after 18 years, his vulnerability with her heartbreak when she realized he couldn't change, or the way she predicted his death? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We read every single one. And if this story resonated with you, subscribe to The Untold Story and hit the bell. We cover the real stories behind famous lives, the ones that go deeper than any headline ever will. Because sometimes the most important stories aren't about what people achieved, they're about what they couldn't save each other from.